Snoop is just really hilarious.
Snoop Dogg is funny, yeah.
He's doing all these things.
He performed. So ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo niggas gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the out one of you Uncle Tom ass niggas for doing it. Which one of you gonna do it first?
Snoop Dogg just got hit with a warning, and not from the cops or some rival rapper, but from Katt Williams himself. Yeah, Katt Williams, the man who never bites his tongue for anyone. And this time, he's calling out Snoop for what he says is straight up selling out, or as Katt put it, turning into a political dog. Katt didn't sugarcoat a thing, he said. No, sir, your career down the road, people might not want to book you in Texas or Arizona or California. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Let that happen. You could practically feel the sting in his words. Katt wasn't joking. He was sending a real warning. When Katt speaks, it's never for clout, it's a statement. He doesn't chase attention. He drops truth bombs when he's got something solid to say. And according to him, Snoop's walking a dangerous line caught in a game where loyalty, power, and truth don't always mix. Katt's been on a rampage through Hollywood lately, calling out fake smiles and hidden deals. He's named names Steve Harvey, Cedric, D.L. Hughley. Nobody's been safe. But when he mentioned Snoop Dogg, the whole room froze. Why? Because Snoop isn't just another name, he's a symbol. A legend who went from Death Row Records to daytime TV, from the block to the White House.
Your career down the road. People might not want to book you in Texas or Arizona or California.
Sir. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Let's let that.
And remember when Snoop once said, "Now don't know political shit. All you people from the federal government that ain't getting paid right now." That was old Snoop, the one who spoke for the people. But Katt's message cut deep. He said, "Snoop Dogg ain't that same Snoop anymore. Somewhere along the line, the dog stopped being real and started playing nice with power. This ain't the same Snoop who rode with Pac and stood toe-to-toe with Death Row. This is the Snoop who chills with Martha Stewart doing insurance ads and pet food commercials. What happened to the dog who made the streets proud? The Snoop who's cozying up with politicians and CEOs? To Katt Williams, that's not growth, that's straight-up betrayal. Katt doesn't see it as leveling up, he sees it as selling out. The same man who once rapped about surviving the streets is now shaking hands with the very system he used to challenge.
Yeah. Get your life right. Stop worrying about mine. I'm cool. I'm together. Still a black man. Still 100% black.
That's what's got Katt so fired up. He feels like the real Snoop Dogg disappeared somewhere behind the fame and the money. Now don't get it twisted. Katt's always shown Snoop love as one of the greats. He said it himself. Snoop opened doors for a whole generation, turned gangster culture into mainstream power, and made success look smooth and effortless. But in Katt's eyes, somewhere along the road, Snoop forgot what made him special in the first place, that raw authenticity, that fearless energy, that voice that once spoke for the streets. Back then, Snoop was the man who stood against the system, not the one posing for pictures beside it. And let's be real, in today's world, where real ones are being silenced or bought out, Katt isn't letting that pass quietly. He's calling it out exactly how he sees it, loud, bold, and unapologetic. When Katt talks, people listen, because he's not afraid to say what others only whisper. So, where did all this smoke really start between these two legends? Let's rewind. Back in the early 2000s, Snoop Dogg was untouchable. He had survived the death row chaos, escaped the industry traps, and built his own empire. He wasn't just a rapper anymore, he was a movement. He had love from Jay-Z, Ice Cube, 50 Cent, and just about everyone who mattered in hip-hop.
Just want to say this real quick, man, on the political shit. All you people for the federal government that not getting paid right now, ain't no fucking way in the world y'all can vote for Donald Trump when he come back up again. If y'all do vote for him, y'all some stupid mother.
Snoop was that cool-headed OG, the big uncle everyone respected and admired. But then, things changed. Slowly, fans started noticing a shift. Snoop was showing up at political events, smiling with power players, and defending some celebs while staying quiet about others. He started backing brands, politicians, and causes that didn't sit right with the people who'd been rocking with him since day one. That's when Katt said he started seeing the warning signs, the kind that make you question whether someone's still real or just playing a role for the cameras. And that's when Katt dropped one of his coldest lines ever. When they can't control you, they cancel you. And when they can't cancel you, they recruit you. In Katt's eyes, that's exactly what happened to Snoop. He believes the industry stopped trying to silence him and instead brought him into the system. The real tension came when Katt noticed how Snoop handled the major issues in hip-hop. When artists were getting blackballed, Snoop stayed quiet.
Was inaugurated as the 47th president of the United States of America. Snoop Dogg performed at the Crypto Ball. Now, Snoop Dogg, he got the backlash because people are like, wait, this isn't the same Snoop from 2016 who had so much to say about the artist performance.
When people started exposing the industry's dark side, he played peacemaker. And when exploitation came up, Snoop went silent like it wasn't his fight. But the moment Hollywood threw a red carpet party or a celebrity gala, boom, there was Snoop, front and center, smiling for the cameras. To Katt, that wasn't loyalty, that was a man protecting his position, not his people. And that's the part that hit hardest. Because for someone like Katt Williams, who's built his entire career on truth, that kind of silence from a legend like Snoop feels like betrayal. So when Katt Williams said, "I'm sending Snoop his last warning, stop being a political dog," it wasn't just talk. That was a direct challenge aimed at a man he once looked up to. Katt wasn't joking. He was drawing a line in the sand, basically saying, pick a side. In Katt's world, there are only two kinds of dogs, the street dog and the political dog. The street dog is loyal, hungry, fearless, raw, untamed, and driven by truth. But the political dog? That one's trained, obedient, polished, a performer who follows the rules to stay in good favor.
Snoop is just really hilarious.
Snoop Dogg is funny,
He's doing all these things.
So ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo niggas gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the out one of you Uncle Tom ass niggas for doing it. Which one of you?
Katt says Snoop used to be that first kind, wild, real, unpredictable, the voice of the streets. But now, he's acting like the second a man trained to protect the system, not challenge it. And honestly, you can't pretend there isn't a little truth in what Katt's saying. These days, Snoop's on TV more than he's in the studio. He's doing cooking shows instead of community shows, selling products instead of sending messages. He's become a brand, one of the biggest, no doubt, but at what cost? Now, Katt's not hating on growth, not at all. He's just asking a real question. What kind of growth are we talking about here? Did Snoop grow as a man or just as a brand? Because there's a difference. And that's the kind of question that hits deep when it's coming from someone like Katt Williams. See, Katt doesn't care about fame or approval, never has. Hollywood tried to shut him down, blacklist him, even throw him in jail, but he never stopped talking. Arrested, mocked, banned, he kept his truth loud and raw. That's exactly why people trust him, because he's got nothing to lose and no strings attached. Katt's not scared of losing money or fans. What really scares him is what happens when people stop speaking truth out loud. Now here's where it gets real deep. There's history between Snoop and Katt. They didn't just pop up in different worlds, they grew in the same culture.
Of course, Snoop has responded to the backlash he received for performing for a Trump event. One of the things he pointed out was that we always stick together. We're good at tearing each other apart, which is pretty constant. It's pretty consistent when somebody gets into trouble. It takes backlash from the community. It's always a communal thing. It isn't any action they took. It is the fact that we can't stay together, that we can't stick together, that it's us always attacking us. But that flies in the face of the reality of what's happening right now. It is not us who are tearing down affirmative action. It is not us who is tearing down DEI. It is not us who are tearing families apart. It is not us who have decided that affirmative action and rollbacks that have been that had precedent for 50, 60 years are gone. It is not us that is doing it. It is, I think most people are disappointed because they saw you a specific way, and you have a right to kind of interpret and do whatever artistically you want to. No one's begrudging you that. But why the attack on the community because they disagree with something you did?
Both West Coast icons, one in hip-hop, the other in comedy, both loved and respected by the streets. Back in the 2000s, their energy was tight. Snoop always showed Katt love. They hit radio shows together, shared laughs at comedy events, interviews, you name it. There was real mutual respect. But over time, that vibe changed. Katt started feeling something was off. He noticed that while he was out here calling out Hollywood's fakes, dropping names like Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley, and Cedric the Entertainer, Snoop stayed quiet, not a peep. And what made it worse? While Katt was exposing them, Snoop was smiling in pictures with those same people like nothing ever happened. To Katt, that wasn't loyalty, that was betrayal dressed in designer clothes. Because if you really stand on truth, you don't stay silent when the world needs your voice the most. That's when Katt Williams drew the line in the sand and said, you can't be for the people and still shake hands with the puppeteers. And everybody knew exactly who that shot was aimed at, straight at Snoop. Katt didn't sugarcoat it or play coy. He wanted that message to sting. And let's be real, this ain't the first time Snoop's been accused of switching sides. Back in those wild Death Row Records days, he was ride or die for the streets. He moved with loyalty, spoke his mind, and never backed down. But after Tupac's death, something changed. Snoop started distancing himself from Suge Knight, pulling away from that chaos and forming new alliances. That move right there still got people arguing over where his loyalty really stands. After leaving Death Row, Snoop linked up with Master P over at No Limit, then went corporate, and eventually straight into the Hollywood spotlight. He's reinvented himself more times than any rapper in the game, and that's part of why he's still standing strong today. But that same adaptability is also what made a lot of people start side-eyeing him. They began to wonder if the dog who once barked for the streets was now barking for the system. See, Katt Williams ain't trying to tear down Snoop's success, not at all. He's not jealous, he's questioning the soul behind it. He's basically saying, you used to lead us, now you follow them. That hits deep, because it's not about fame, it's about integrity. To Katt, Snoop stopped being the voice of the people and started being a polished brand that plays by Hollywood's rules. Now, Snoop hasn't fired back directly at Katt, at least not yet, but the internet definitely has. And it's split right down the middle. Half the people are saying Katt's just hating, calling him bitter, jealous, and mad at anyone who made it big in the mainstream. They argue that Snoop's just doing what any smart businessman would do, evolve, adapt, survive. They say he's earned the right to sit at those tables after everything he's been through. But the other half, they're standing with Katt, saying he's the only one bold enough to speak what everyone's been whispering for years. That Snoop's been playing both sides, preaching real while living corporate, talking loyalty while moving with whoever's cutting the biggest check. And maybe both sides got a point because this whole thing ain't just about Katt and Snoop anymore. It's about what happens when fame and authenticity collide. Snoop represents survival, the man who made it out, stayed relevant, and built an empire. Katt represents rebellion, the one who refuses to bow down, even if it costs him everything. It's two worlds clashing hard, play the game or expose the game. And right now, Katt's making it clear he thinks Snoop's gone too deep into that system to ever come back clean. When Katt Williams dropped that warning, it hit like thunder, loud, bold, and impossible to ignore. It sounded like something big was coming, like a storm brewing behind the scenes. Fans went wild trying to figure out what Katt really meant. Was he warning Snoop about karma? About the price you pay when you trade your purpose for politics? Or was he warning him about the danger of playing both sides because sooner or later, both sides turn on you? And then there are folks who believe Katt's just fed up, tired of watching the legends he once admired turn into puppets for power. He's seeing people he respected get comfortable in the very system they used to call out, and that burns him up. Katt once said, "The moment you stop talking for the people stop talking for you." And that's exactly what he's telling Snoop. No matter how rich, how famous, or how iconic you become, if the streets stop feeling you, then you've already lost. That's why this warning hits different. It's personal. It's not just about one rapper or one beef. It's about every entertainer who's forgotten where they came from. Katt's sending a message to all of them. Don't let them turn you into something you're not. Because once you lose your realness, once you let them control your voice, they don't need you anymore. That's the real truth buried under all the smoke and drama. Snoop's career proves just how tricky fame can get. The man's been everything gangsta icon, businessman, peacemaker, comedian, actor, mogul, and he's earned every bit of his success. Nobody can take away what he's done for hip-hop, but with every new move he makes, that same question keeps echoing louder. Has Snoop gotten too comfortable, too polished, too political? Because let's not forget, this is the same Snoop Dogg who once said, F the system. The same Snoop who stood up for the people, who spoke with raw fire and pride. And now that same man is sitting across from the system on daytime talk shows, shaking hands and cracking jokes. And that's the part Katt Williams just can't respect. Still, no matter how wild this gets, one thing's for sure, nobody can erase what Snoop has done for the culture. He helped build West Coast hip-hop from the ground up, brick by brick, rhyme by rhyme. But now, Katt's warning feels like a crossroads, a reminder that fame might make you shine, but it can also dim your truth if you let it. Snoop Dogg's legacy runs deep. He's mentored artists, created jobs, and given back to the community in real ways. He's one of the few rappers who actually aged gracefully, no public meltdowns, no wild scandals, no crash and burn drama. But maybe that's the issue right there. In an industry built on chaos, being calm starts to look suspicious. And then there's Katt Williams' pure chaos in human form, loud, raw, and unapologetically real. So when Katt looks at Snoop's calmness, he doesn't see peace, he sees compliance. That's exactly why this whole situation feels like it's far from over, because when Katt Williams says, last warning, he's not bluffing, he means it. And if Snoop even hints at clapping back, you can bet Katt's coming 10 times harder, ready to shake up the whole industry again. This ain't just another celebrity feud, this is a full-blown clash between truth and tolerance, between the rebel and the ruler. Two legends who walk completely different roads but somehow ended up under the same spotlight. Katt represents the people raw, unfiltered, fearless. Snoop represents the dream, the man who made it out, stayed smart, and built an empire from nothing. Both started real, both changed the game, but only one of them refuses to play it. And in Katt's eyes, that's the real difference. It's not about who's richer, who's more famous, or who's got more awards. It's about who still stands on their truth when the lights fade. Because no matter how many hits Snoop drops or deals he signs, Katt's looking at him like, are you still that dog from Long Beach? Or just another player in their system? So what happens next? Maybe nothing. Maybe everything. Because in this industry, silence speaks louder than words, and if Snoop stays quiet after this, it might not mean peace. It might mean that power is still running the show behind the curtain. This is Hot Tea Daily, where we dig deep into what really goes down behind the glitz and glam. So hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Do you think Katt's right? Did Snoop sell out to the system, or is Katt just tired of fighting battles no one else will? Let's talk about it. One thing's for sure, when Katt Williams says, "This is your last warning," you better believe he means it. See you in the next one.